An update from the city of Dalton. Tiffany Henyard, the number one overall seed and the winner of Q101's Piece of Garbage Madness with Brian and Kenzie. And I will make a reminder out there that we're only about a month away from March Madness and, of course, our St. Patty's Day broadcast, which kind of correlate to March Madness. If you're new to the show, Piece of Garbage Madness is when we take people and things that have been pieces of garbage in the last year, and we rank them, we rate them just like the basketball teams, and then they compete against each other. And Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, who has allegedly stolen millions of dollars from that area in a city where people only make $29,000 a year, and she makes several $100,000 a year. So she will,
obviously.
And she will most likely be a number one overall seed this year, too, competing in the tournament. We'll ask for nominations soon on this.
That's coming up.
Yeah, so there's a new story out of Dalton now, a brawl between critics and allies of South suburban politics, Tiffany Henyard, that broke out in a public meeting a few weeks back has now resulted in a pair of federal lawsuits. Activist and Henyard antagonist Jedediah Brown, who said these great words at that event.
You gone.
So he claims his civil rights were violated by the fight that erupted seconds after he made slurs about Henyard's sex life and parenting. I know. WGN cameras were there recording and captured the punching and kicking and Henyard jumping into the melee. We have those news stories as well. We'll play a little bit of that audio. Let's get to that right now just in case to catch you up on everything.
Well, it can't be overstated that Tiffany Henyard was on one side of the room when this brawl broke out, and without skipping a beat, she ran to the other side of the room to jump in. It was instincts that only all-pro cornerbacks typically have. She ran with speed and aggression. I've never seen a politician do anything like this before.
Well, we should be looking into what she can do for the Bears, okay?
Certainly would be a great add-on for at least a one-year, prove-it contract. Here's a story from CBS about that brawl, if you recall.
As Jedediah Brown finished his public comments directed to Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, he ended with this.
You gone.
And before Brown could get back to his seat, Henyard's allies, including her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, confronted Brown, and punches went flying. Several men joined the tussle where people threw punches and started kicking. Security guard tried separating the men. Witnesses say Henyard, who was in the front of the room with the board of trustees, ran towards that tussle. Her intentions unclear, but she did lose a shoe and was thrown to the ground.
Sorry.
She did lose a shoe.
That was unprofessional.
No, it's okay. It's fine. She did lose a shoe.
I'm sorry.
And that it was a fight worthy of a UFC pay-per-view. It was incredible. It was not short.
It wasn't two guys pushing each other saying, hold me back, hold me back. It looked like, if you've ever seen, and we just passed the 20th anniversary of it, the Pacers-Pistons Malice at the Palace. That is what our local government looked like on that night.
Yep, pretty much. And listen, we're talking about the USA-Canada hockey game tonight. We had 3 brawls in 9 seconds. This rivaled it. Let's see how Fox 32, what their news report sounded like on the brawl. If it treats any differently.
A fist fight breaks out at Tiffany Henyard's Thornton Township meeting tonight, and witnesses say Henyard herself jumped onto the pile.
It happened as a community
jumped onto the pile.
Well, that just sounds fun.
As a community activist and frequent Henyard critic was speaking. He apparently insulted Henyard, calling her a name. That's when a witness says Henyard's boyfriend confronted him. That's when the chaos ensued. The witness says Henyard pushed her table out of the way, ran to the back of the room to join in.
Well, wait a minute. She pushed the table out, too?
Okay, well, I have to quote Kate Michelle. And if you know, you know. Oh, she's shaking the table.
This brawl started, and we followed this story since the beginning a few years ago. We're the only radio station in the city. WGN TV, yeah, they were first. But our friend
Ben Bradley.
I always say Bill Bradley. I want to say the basketball, former
I know,
NBA.
you keep doing that.
Yeah, our guy Ben Bradley did this story when it was uncovered that she went to Vegas, possibly using taxpayer money. And this is the iconic call that started the whole thing off.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
What is that? And of course, that continued.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
What is that?
What is that?
That led to more of the reporting from WGN and Mr. Bradley with one of the trustees, one of our favorite pieces of audio on the show.
Trustee Jerry Jones was on that first-class trip to New York.
Still don't have a comment.
Sir, you're a trustee.
Well, once again, I don't have a comment.
I mean, it is what it is.
I don't have a comment. So we'll see how this all plays out. We will follow this story to the end as we have committed ourselves to it. Tiffany Henyard, a future #1 overall seed in Piece of Garbage Madness with Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie
on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for some music entertainment news. Very appropriately, we play that MTV stinger there because that's when we all found out, if you were around in 94, that Kurt Cobain had passed away. Today is his birthday. He would have been 58 years old. February 20th, 1967. And Kurt Donald Cobain. And I love the Wikipedia definition of Kurt Cobain if you just go there and you don't know much about him. Through his angsty songwriting and anti-establishment persona, his compositions widen the thematic conventions of mainstream rock music. He was heralded as the spokesman of Generation X and is widely recognized as one of the most influential rock musicians of all time.
Are they wrong?
They're not wrong. Not wrong 100%.
But boy, would he hate that first sentence.
Let me go with that first. Through his angsty songwriting and anti-establishment persona. Yep, he'd hate that.
I think he'd just get out and leave. He'd hate that sentence.
It was wild how, and just for personal reasons, when you watch all the documentaries and me being, they're like, if you're, I don't know what age you might be, but they're like kind of my Led Zeppelin Nirvana is.
Yeah.
They're the band that I've known my whole life. And with just 2 chords, we're going to play Smells Like Teen Spirit here in a minute, with the dan-and-that, it killed everything and changed everything in 1 second of music. And if you were old enough to remember, that's when the hair metal bands were still kind of ruling. Grunge had started, but those 2 chords, for whatever you want to put on Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, and Soundgarden, the big 4 with Nirvana, those 2, dan-and-that, went, wait, what's this? What's happening? And the video on MTV totally changed everything going forward with music. And as I said, Q101's been around since 1992. It might not be here if it wasn't for Nirvana. It might not be here. We might not be here right now just goofing off and having a good time. So I promised you some audio that you have most likely not heard unless you're an ultra super fan and you did the deep dive. And Case found this audio from Dave Grohl talking about Kurt Cobain when his daughter listening to Nirvana, which he explains it better than I can go in about. Doesn't sit around the house listening to Nirvana all the time. And this was an interview with Conan O'Brien.
My daughter Harper and I were driving in the car not long ago, 6 months ago, and a Nirvana song came on. And we don't listen to Nirvana at home. This Nirvana song comes on, she's singing along to the words. And I'm thinking, wow, that's weird. I've never heard her listen to a Nirvana song. How does she know a Nirvana song? And she says, Dad, how old were you when you made this song? I said, God, I think I was like 22, maybe. She goes, oh, how old was Kurt? I said, I think he was maybe like 23, 24. She goes, what was he like? And I'd say, well, he was really nice. He was kind of shy, sometimes quiet, but he was cool. But she says, well, he was shy. Was he shy around people that he knew or people that he didn't know? And I said, well, kind of a little bit of both. And she said, God, that's so strange that someone who feels shy like that could write these songs and sing them for everyone to hear and then stand on stage in front of 100,000 people and play them. I thought that was so cool because I think she wasn't looking so much at that other thing.
Yep.
She was looking at the person.
Yeah, that's really wild. Again, the first thought, and obviously there's people that are 15 walking around wearing Nirvana shirts, and they discover the music now, and it stands up.
Well, that's what happened to me. I mean, I was 12 the first time I heard Nirvana, and I never shared the earth with Kurt Cobain. I was born 5 years after he passed away, but the order of my life was there was the first 12 years of my life, and then I heard Wood by Alice in Chains, and I said, whoa, I'm going to need more of whatever that is. And then Nirvana is the next logical step, and it became a complete obsession in my teenage years, and I realize now maybe I don't wear how much I like Nirvana on my chest as much as maybe I should, but they're one of the greatest bands of all time. I'm completely infatuated with them still.
Yeah. You can still find more, too. you know?
Do you think your parents were like, oh, he is angsty?
Well, yes, because my parents were not Nirvana people. And so I forced my dad to listen to not only Nevermind and In Utero, but the demos and the outtakes and the bootlegs that I would find. And it was a lot for my parents, and I'm very glad that they would let me do that.
They're like, Case, we have horses outside.
I'm like, no, thank you.
Touch some grass, honey.
Case was yelling at his dad, don't you understand his angsty songwriting and his anti-establishment persona? These compositions widen the thematic conventions of mainstream rock music, Dad.
He was the voice of Generation X.
Well, there's another piece of audio we're going to play here, and this is what I love to do on... It doesn't happen intentionally, but you fall down a wormhole of isolated vocals.
Yeah.
And YouTube is amazing.
It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever.
You can find a song when I say that, and they take the vocals off. Somebody put it up there, and you can find the vocals. And Butch Vig, who was produced, of course, he's in Garbage, the band Garbage. He produced Nevermind. Incredible producer, has produced 100 albums that we all love. Talks about working with Kurt Cobain on Smells Like Teen Spirit and getting the vocals just right.
And this is it was a series called Classic Albums. They did an episode on Nevermind, obviously. The full thing is available on Amazon. It is probably the media I've consumed the most because I had it parked on my DVR as a kid. And you would always have the DVR keep button next to it.
Oh, yeah.
This was essential to my life that this never left my DVR. And he goes through the whole record. There's interviews with Dave Grohl, Chris Novoselic, people from Seattle that grew up around them. But throughout the course of the documentary, he breaks down the isolated tracks on the master tapes. And the isolated vocals of Smells Like Teen Spirit are, I say this complimentary, but haunting.
You can hear his voice now in the last chorus.
I feel stupid.
It's starting to get pretty shot. He's been going so hard through the song, pushing so hard. Sounds like his vocal cords are starting to come right out of his throat.
I'm a skater.
Especially when he gets to a denial. It's pretty powerful sounding.
Wow.
Incredible.
So he doubled the vocals. You could hear one voice was raspier than the other time. He doubled it on there and did that. Why don't we just play the damn song and you hear it with the music? You hear Kurt. And the song that changed everything, it's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Happy birthday, Kurt, wherever you are.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Huge night in sports, possibly the biggest sporting event of the year, besides the Super Bowl, happening tonight. What is it?
The Q101 Morning Crew. Sports.
Well, of course, it's the USA-Canada, the Four Nations Face-Off finale, live from TD Garden in Boston at 7 o'clock on ESPN. We're all going to be watching this together. Kenzie's already got it marked in her phone to turn it on at 7 o'clock. Get ready for some wonderfulness. Now, if you don't know the history of what happened just in the last week, on Saturday night, one of the highest-rated hockey games of all time, as the Four Nations, which has replaced the NHL All-Star Game. It's been going on for a long time, but this year totally replaced the NHL All-Star Game, which was an incredible, smart move on their part.
They successfully revamped an All-Star Game in the same way that the NBA has never been able to figure out.
Nope. And that game started off like this with the USA and Canada. Of course, all NHL players playing on defending their country after Canada booed the American national anthem. Oh, big mistake.
Huge.
Huge.
Finally drop this puck, get the action going.
The Tkachuk brothers are on the ice, flanking Jack Eichel and John Cooper. Look out! They're going to drop the gloves right away. Matthew Tkachuk and Brandon Hagel right off the hop.
I kind of just want to watch this for 10 minutes on the radio. That's probably not a good move, though. Well, it was incredible. And obviously, tonight, now the United States won that. So the rivalry continues. And that game was in Canada. This one in Boston should be wild. We're all going to be in a text thread together. But also, we could just get on. We could also just get on Twitter and all together talk about this matchup together.
The Q101 Facebook page, Q101 Chicago.
Ooh, that's a good spot. Let's do that.
Well, it's where people are.
Yeah.
Nobody's on Twitter anymore. We got to go back to Facebook on this.
Twitter used to be awesome. It just really, the experience sucks now. I'm still on there, but I have, when you look at Twitter and you go to this top, you can see all the amount of tweets you've made.
Uh-huh.
I've made like 48,000 tweets.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What else have you done with your life?
That's about it. Yeah. I used to live tweet everything, and maybe I'll try to live tweet this hockey game, but there's just no traction with it anymore.
But think about what you just said. You're going to try to live tweet a hockey game.
That's my Thursday, baby. Let's go. This is an amazing event tonight as the Americans won the game 3-1. We'll try to stop Canada's run because in 2010, 2014 Olympics, the 2016 World Cup of Hockey, in the best-on-best tournaments involving NHL players. The USA will try to match their success against Canada from the 96 World Cup. So it's been a minute. Let's go. Also in sports, Bears season ticket packages have been announced as going up 10% by the president and CEO of the Bears, Kevin Warren. Boo! Canada should do that instead of the national anthem. Now, they went up 8% last year, and the team was an outstanding disappointment this past season. They're going up 10% because, according to Mr. Warren, the season ticket holders attributing the increase to, quote, market dynamics, industry trends, and a strong home schedule.
Oof.
I don't know what market dynamics means.
I barely know what
the
industry
dynamic
trends.
of the market.
Yeah.
Hello, do you speak English? The dynamic of the whole market.
Thank
That's
you
what
for
just
explaining
said.
it, Kenzie.
You're welcome. Oh my God, open your ears.
Can you explain industry trends?
The trends in the industry. I mean, okay. You're welcome. Listen, pay attention.
Sorry, I'm so embarrassed. Now,
Yeah, you should be.
Now, what I can comment on is the strong home schedule. As you go through now, 2025 opponents have been set, not the dates. Now, of course, we know the division is tough. The Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings all had record years in a way. So, what are the other home games? The Dallas Cowboys.
Fun. Love Cowboys. Country's having a big year.
The Giants, the Browns, the Steelers, the Saints. You couldn't put garbage together if you tried more on that. Now, is he saying, I thought about it for a minute. Is he saying strong home schedule because they're winnable games?
Yes. You
think so?
I think he's saying, what? I mean, imagine how bad it would be if it was like Eagles, Chiefs, because it's like lose. Like, this is fun. If you go, you can experience a Bears win.
So shouldn't we pay less for a Bears victory because we've just been raked over the coals over so many years? Can't you give us
That's not going to happen. They're building a team, you see.
I understand.
They need all the money.
Give us a freebie. Give us one game for free next year. New coach, you paid him $13 million.
One game for free?
One game should be free.
Per person, like what, in Illinois? Or how does that work?
No, we just say it's free and it's first come, first serve into the stadium. That won't cause any chaos.
Nothing bad has ever happened with festival seating.
I mean, I deserve a free game after all the time and effort and money. I bought a Caleb Williams jersey for $130 before the season last year.
And a starter jacket.
$100 for a starter jacket I found at a vintage store that was incredible. It fit me like a glove.
You know, I do think that if anyone's going to get freebies, maybe it should be like season ticket holders who spend a lot of money. Like, you haven't spent any money really going to games.
I have spent money, not season tickets, but if they have season ticket holder money, I deserve a free game.
Okay.
They can afford the season ticket.
No, you still deserve it more. You're right. I'm sorry.
And by the way, for some reason, if you're, this would be an odd place to be, but if you're on the side of the Bears increasing their prices, remember, they made $599 million in 2023. And that's before Caleb Williams.
So Kenzie analyzing those numbers.
What I'm hearing is that they actually don't need to raise ticket prices, and perhaps they are just yet another greedy sports organization.
I don't know. Things are expensive. Look how much they had to spend on a coach, okay?
Yeah, the most almost ever they spent on a coach, $13 million.
Yeah.
And again, I'm on the side of the Bears. You spent the money on the coach. You revamped. You did everything I wanted you to do.
Except for win.
Except for win.
Yes,
Pointed, noted. And give me a free game. That's all I'm asking for.
They don't have a punch card.
Like Subway?
Yeah. Like Subway.
My 9th game should be free. And there you go. There's sports. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And Lauren's in the continued Ticket Blitz Thursday. Have a new keyword coming up for the Winnetka Music Festival. So all that going on with Lauren in just a few minutes. And it's going to be 24 degrees and sunny all day. Good day. Finally. A little bit warmer. So, Case, takeaway. What do you got?
Takeaway from our friend Paul in Burbank. Not adding Kenzie as my emergency contact. She won't answer and will leave me for dead.
But you can have me as your emergency contact, and I won't be weirded out about it.
Yeah, she just won't do anything about it.
No, I just won't do anything.
The definition of the occupation of emergency contact, she will not partake in.
Your choice. It's your choice.
I just saw his text. I love how he put these skull and crossbones emojis after it. Dead. Kenzie, what do you got?
Abby texted in with her takeaway. Industry trends are just trends in the industry. Duh. I mean, I don't understand what the problem is.
And finally, 708 takeaway. Pour one out for Tiffany Henyard's lost shoe.
Oh. The good news is she can use all the tax money to buy a new pair, so that's awesome.
Can you imagine her shoe closet with millions of dollars?
Good for her. I'm happy.
All the people were in bread lines down there in Dalton. All right, enough of that. Case, what do you got in the podcast?
This morning on the podcast, Kenzie tried and failed to represent her country. If you are a proud American... If you are a proud American, please send your anger Kenzie's way. She does deserve it after failing to represent these stars and stripes.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, it happens. I did not. I love this country, and I'm very upset with Kenzie. Also, if this happens to you on a second date, you need to run for the hills. We had a great discussion. One of our crew members sent us a DM this morning about something bizarre that happened on a second date. We broke that down. You will want to check that out on the Brian and Kenzie podcast. And then just about an hour ago, we played some rarely heard Kurt Cobain audio in honor of his 58th birthday.
58th birthday?
I think that's what I said.
You said 50th, I thought.
Oh, maybe. 58th birthday.
Listen, it's fine if you want to age him down a little bit and what he would be. It's cool. That's all good.
I think they just sound alike, Brian.
Anyways, a lot of good Kurt Cobain stuff today. I'm very, very proud of of the way we can sort of memorialize him, and that is on the Brian and Kenzie podcast.
All there at the Q101 app and smart speaker, however you listen in your car. You can listen on your, anything. One thing I want to bring up, because I got a DM from somebody saying, hey, the podcast is only 25 minutes. And I want to make sure you understand that when Case puts the podcast up, it is 4 segments, each hour of the show. So they're all lined up so you can listen to it in order and then get the podcast, hear the whole show in its entirety.
And then there's a 5th upload every day of the best of the show. If you just want the funniest half hour that we had, all the hours combined, that is there as well. And hey, maybe send that to somebody.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be a pretty cool thing to do.
Yeah, DM it to somebody on their Instagram with those new features.
Slide in.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.